What's up, guys? Devin Zander here with my co-host
Clayton Johnson.
And we are
Rowdy Boys.
Yes, we
are the number one intergalactic marketing podcast. Actually, marketing and
Rick
motivation.
and Morty recently and like 6 alternate realities over. They were teleporting through these realities, and then they're in our podcast room.
Still the number one podcast.
Oh, dude, it was crazy. Anyways, Clayton, enlighten the people. We have a mindset episode today. What are we talking about?
Okay, guys, today this is going to be a super important topic. You know that we're not just a marketing podcast, but also marketing and mindset, because you can't have one without the other. So today I really want to talk about why setting small goals is keeping you from success, and why you should set huge goals, and why it's going to be so much better. So you ready to do this?
Hell yeah, bro. Let's do it. Let's get rowdy. Let's have fun.
Okay, so the first reason you should not set small goals is because you're probably not going to be motivated enough to get through the struggle. Okay, so here's what it is. When you set a big goal, it should be like life-changing, right? It should really mean something to you, right? And if you can do that, inevitably during that path, there's going to be a lot of stuff that you have to do. It's going to be probably really hard. You're going to hit roadblocks, and at some point, it's probably going to become a little bit demoralizing. Like, everyone's been there that's tried to do something really great. Is like, you get to a point where you're like, dude, is this worth it? And if the goal is going to be small, then you're going to be like, no, probably not. Right?
Yeah.
You're going to give up.
This, bro. I want to go bowling.
So the goal must be big enough that you can say in that time of despair, that you can go like, yo, this is going to be worth it. And you can get through that dip.
Yeah, because like, let's just go back to a business analogy here, since we are a business podcast, right? If someone's starting out a business and they're like, well, I just want to make $3,000 a month, right? And then they start hitting a roadblock. It's like, well, what can you even picture? I mean, $3,000 a month isn't going to unlock much for you. But if you're like, I just want to make $30,000 a month, and then you hit roadblocks, then you can imagine like, well, God, this is tough, but man, those weekends in Bali with the hot women or the hot guys, or the weekend, I mean, fuck that. Those months in Bali, like with the hot women, hot guys, partying, the first class flights, the like life for your family. It's going to be different for every person. The cars, this, and that, right? Right. That is something that will motivate you to get through those hard times. But $3,000 a month, bro, that's like, okay, well, not even gonna be able to fucking pay rent in St. Petersburg or Portland or somewhere else, and now I have to move to fucking Kansas in the middle of nowhere. It's just not. It's not good enough, man. It's not gonna help you power through, right? Yeah. And even if you really only want to make $3,000 a month, I mean, we're gonna talk. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. We got some hacks, ladies and gentlemen, hacks.
Yeah. So first one is that you won't be motivated through the struggle. So set a big goal because you can get through that struggle.
Something that will help you like unlock all these visions for your life, okay? And it obviously doesn't have to be about business. It can be like, your goal shouldn't necessarily be to lose 10 pounds, but set a huge goal, like get fucking ripped and get abs. Because, if it's 10 pounds, you're going to look at it like, well, I'm not even going to look that much different. And we found that 10 pounds really doesn't create a lot of difference in our 75 hard journey. But, getting fucking ripped, that's something you can really visualize too. So maybe that's something you should keep in mind, is something that you can visualize.
Not to say that, now I want to kind of touch on this because it's not that you should set unrealistic goals either, though. You know what I mean? I don't think you should set some kind of goal that's like, so you shouldn't, like, if you've never started a business, I don't think setting a goal to become a billionaire is a great first goal to set. I think you should have a big goal, but not a crazy unrealistic goal that you have no idea even how to get there.
Yeah, a stepping stone, one at a time, but ones that are still big enough that they're quite aspirational still.
Yeah, that if you got there, it would actually change your life. I think that's kind of how I would judge it.
Life-changing in relation to where you're at now. I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Because, dude, to be honest, some people, if they did make $3,000 a month, that might allow them to quit their job or something. So that could be life-changing.
Talking about, living here in St. Petersburg and all that. It's like 3,000 doesn't even cover my rent and car insurance.
Yeah. So set a big goal because you can get motivated through the struggle. Okay, number 2 is that if you set small goals, you set yourself up for failure, because your brain doesn't actually think creatively enough to get you to what you really want. Okay, so this is a little bit harder to articulate, but what I want to say is that when you think about how to set a huge goal, or think about how to actually achieve a bigger goal, your brain is actually going to get way more creative and what the mechanics are that are going to have to be able to get you there. For instance, if you set a goal that is, you want to make a business that made like $30,000 a month, you might start thinking like, hey, you know what? I'm going to have to sell a product that, is like multi-thousands of dollars. And I might have to hire a team to do that. And I might have to run ads to do that. Yeah. Or you might start thinking of all these things that you would not think about if you were to just say, oh, I want to make $3,000. Because you probably make $3,000 by getting one client. You know what I mean? Exactly. Or something real simple. But when you think about a big goal, your brain starts getting creative and all the mechanics of what it might take. And that's going to set you on a totally different trajectory that's way more likely to be successful.
And there's another reason why I think it's so important as well is coming from a software background, but this is something you'll find in multiple fields, but debt, right? So if you're thinking small up front, then you're going to build a business that doesn't scale because you're only thinking of the small things, right? And if you're thinking of something that makes, 30 or 50,000, even 100,000, $1 million a month from the very get-go, you're going to probably think about these problems ahead of time and problems that you might run into and come up with creative architecture or solutions in your business to help prevent those problems. Because what happens right now is like, let's say you build that $3,000 a month company and now it's like, okay, well, shit, I'm at $3,000 a month. Now I want more, right? You're going to realize those processes, the marketing strategy, the messages, all these things that you're doing right now, aren't going to scale, and you need to rethink your entire business and start from scratch. So that is a fucking terrible thing. That's like something that happens in software all the time. You realize like, oh God, the way that we created this app, it works for 100 users, but there's no way we can support 1,000 users on it or something like that. So you need to be thinking towards that huge goal. If we knew the app, for instance, was going to be successful, and from the get-go, we built it in a way that it could support tens of thousands of users because we wanted to get that many eventually, we would have never had that issue. And that saves you a bunch of time, money, and headaches. So there's so many reasons why it is important to set that big goal from the start.
Yeah. So think about that. Like your brain's going to get more creative if you just think bigger, period. And you're going to start setting yourself up for success, okay? Actually it's really funny. I want to touch on that a little bit. Is like, when we started the Hoth, like we just had one product called the Hoth. Yeah. Right? The product
hit them over the head.
We never envisioned that we would have like a suite of different products. I think a lot of people do this too. I even saw like Theragun, like they had Theragun, and then now they had to rebrand to Therabody, and they had to like change their whole name because their whole company was called Theragun. They didn't think that. First of all, I love Theragun, so there's nothing negative to say about that. But I could see that they didn't expect to branch out. But that's what's going to happen in your business. Like you come up with one idea for a product, and that's your brand. So just think that you're probably going to sell more products in the future. So if you're just starting out, just think about that and expand your mindset. It'll kind of help with everything the way you develop your products.
I saw that same example today. There's this vegan chicken nugget company. They're called Nugs. Yeah, and they just rebranded to Simulate because obviously the chicken nuggets took off, but now they're making more than nuggets. So Nugs doesn't make sense anymore. So Simulate, simulate chicken and shit. I don't know.
Okay.
Vegan power, let's go. But it's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
If they would have thought of that ahead of time, then this wouldn't have been a headache they would have had to deal with.
Yep. Right on. Okay, number 3. If you set a large goal and you don't hit it, you'll probably get something great anyway. So take it away.
This one's for me to explain. This one's mine. Dude, I learned this one from Grant Cardone, 10X, baby. Went to his conference in Mexico back before. I think Grant is like falling off a little bit right now. Hopefully he never watches this. I doubt he will. But back then,
Grant,
he was
still
a badass. His 10X principle book was so life-changing for me in my business because it made me know that I needed to fucking go out there and get it. But he has this whole thing he talks about, like, look, you could be someone who sets small goals or you can be someone who sets large goals. If you set large goals and you fail, you're still probably going to be above where you would have been if you set that small goal. So, I set a goal to make 100K or I set a goal to make 5K. From the get-go, if I set my goal to be 100K, I'm going to be doing so much different kinds of work that will help me generate a ton. I'm going to not be as lazy. I'm just going to be working much harder because intrinsically I understand I need to work harder to make that 100K. And even if I fail to meet that 100K, guess what? Since I worked so hard and did the right kind of work, the type of work it requires to make 100K, not bullshit small work, then I'm probably going to be way above 5K. Maybe I'll be at like 50K, 70K, 80K. Even if I fail, I'm still way above where I was. And I think another way to put it is like you can shoot for the moon or you can shoot for like the sky, right? If I shoot for the moon and I still don't make it, I'm still in space, bro. I'm still way above just the sky. You know what I'm saying? So that is just like huge, and it really changed the way that we approach our work.
Yeah.
Love that one, man.
Yeah.
Maybe you got some, I don't
No,
know.
I do love that. I mean, I love it a lot, and I think it's totally true. If you set a large goal, don't hit it, probably hit something great. Yeah.
Yeah, way above the small goal, guys.
Yeah.
And then imagine if you hit the small goal and you don't hit that, then you're screwed, bro.
Oh,
You got
yeah.
nothing.
Because, like, dude, sometimes it's like just as hard to do small stuff as it is the big stuff. I don't know. Like, you can actually spend a ton of time doing small stuff. You know what I mean? You can also spend a
checking
ton of
your
time doing
email.
big stuff. So it's like, I always say, like, look, it's kind of crazy, like, thinking about it, like, metaphysically, like, a lot of us, we just work on our computers, right?
Yeah.
Like, and we almost do the exact same thing. Like, more or less, I work 40 hours a week. Most people work about 40 hours a week, maybe 50 or 60 or something. But let's just say 40 hours a week. And we all on our computers, we sit down there for about 8 hours a day, and we type like this. And it's almost the exact same movements. And
all around the world. All of us are doing the same thing.
exactly. But some people make these movements, and they make $30,000 a year, and some people make these movements and make millions of dollars per year.
And just for those listening to audio, Clayton is just typing at his keyboard.
Yeah. And so it's almost the exact same movements. It's kind of crazy to think about that if you could just set like your goal differently or just made few different movements. It's not even like you have to compete against Michael Jordan like super physically or something like that. Like literally if you just change your mind and make a few different adjustments to almost exact same movements, like by setting your goal. I know. That's why I said the metaphysical stuff. So I don't want to get too deep, but I think it is a crazy thing to think about is because dude, you can just make so much more by doing almost exactly the same thing. Might as well, if you're gonna do that, might as well just make a lot of money doing it, right?
Oh, hell yeah.
Just choose the bigger thing. Choose the more money. All right.
Yeah.
All right, last one
rowdy.
that I have on here for you guys, why you should not set small goals, why you should set big goals, is because you're probably dividing your attention. So I see a lot of people, or this is specifically what I used to do, is I used to set like 10 small goals. I'd be like, yo, I want to run half a marathon, I want to read 10 books, I want to do like all these like small things that don't really change much versus one big goal, and I would divide my attention across all of them, and what would happen is most of them wouldn't even get achieved, period, and then I'll get to the end of the year and be like, oh, well, I didn't achieve all my random small goals. Once I started being like, yo, I only have like 2 or 1 big goal, that's when I got like total focus and things really started moving. Because you want to know why? It's because I actually gave a shit about that goal. Like it was actually important enough, it's actually big enough and life-changing enough that I could go and actually do it. So my attention wasn't divided by all these little small shits, and I could actually focus and go get that.
Yeah, I mean, because realistically, we only have so much mental bandwidth anyways, right? There's only
100%.
so much we can focus on, and every little thing we add to it is taking away from the other, right? So you add a new project to the equation, and that's obviously the time, the energy, the thought has to leave somewhere else, right? So now the quality of everything in your life just dropped. Every time you add something new to your life, the quality of everything else is going to drop just a little bit because your focus is spread. And if you're just focused on one huge goal, you don't need the other shit because you're going to unlock everything. You're going to get all your fulfillment from that one goal as long as it's big enough and life-changing enough, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to get better work done and you're going to get better results. There's no reason not to.
Yeah. Yo, if you want a recipe for like not moving anything in your life and doing a bunch of mediocre, just try to do like 20 things at the same time.
Yeah, you should.
You're going to put like
learn
one little
golf, bowl, badminton, putt, dog train. Just learn it all at once.
Yeah.
Just see what happens.
You're going to be putting one nickel into every bucket, and you're basically going to come out where you suck at everything still. If you were just to concentrate on one thing and go after that, do like real deep work on it. You know, like every single day you're working on that and getting real substantial, deep work done. And at the same time, you know, when you're at night or in the shower, your brain is just focused on that one thing. You're coming up with creative ideas and solutions because you're going to have like hard things to get through. So you need that deep work time so your brain can focus on that one thing. And you're going to have these breakthroughs that you're never going to get if you're concentrating on these little small things and your attention is divided. So what?
I said, fuck small things.
Yeah. So you're going to divide your attention. So those are the 4 things that I have. Number 1 is that you won't be motivated through the struggle. Number 2 is you're setting yourself up for failure because you can't get creative enough to think about what you're going to have to do to get what you really want. Third one is if you set a large goal and you don't hit it, you probably still get something great. And number 4 is you're dividing your attention. So those are 4 reasons. I want to finish this off though with I'm curious from your perspective before we wrap this up.
Yeah. Let's go.
What is like the first big goal that you like set that you remember that was like your first real big one? And how did that change from, setting small goals in the past?
Oh man. So the biggest one, I guess my original goal, right, was just like make $6,000 a month. That's all I wanted, right? And it was, I was doing okay. I was real lazy with work. I wasn't investing a lot of money into it or doing anything. I was just like fucking around and recording videos on my camcorder and doing stuff, right? Yeah. And I was like, fuck this. I want to make $1 million, dude. And actually the first year I set that goal, I made over $1 million.
Wow.
And it was just literally because I worked differently. I put more time. I realized I had to put more time into work. I realized, okay, I actually need to invest money into work. I got a partner because I realized I couldn't do everything alone. If I wanted to hit this, I needed some help here. Okay. And then I just fucking tried harder at everything. It was really that simple. But when I only wanted to make $6,000 a month, I was like, yeah, that'd be nice. I could live a modest life and I don't have to work that hard. And all I wanted to do is fucking play World of Warcraft and drink. And I decided, nah, I want $1 million. Boom, everything changed. I just viewed everything differently and made it happen.
I love that, man.
Yeah. You got one?
Yeah. Our business was actually doing fine at the time. We were doing probably like 80 or 100K a month or something. So we were doing good. But I wanted something that was going to change the life. Change my life, change everybody's lives. And I didn't even know what to set. But I remember I was just like, let's just try to get to $500,000 a month. Like I had no idea how to get there, but I was just like 500,000, like just 5x whatever you're doing right now. Because I know, if we get to 500,000 in a month, something's gonna change. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I had some ideas about how that would actually work out and things I wanted to do with the money and all that kind of stuff. But I was just like, let's just pick a big goal. And it totally, the same thing that you said, like totally changed the way that I acted. Yeah. Because when we were just trying to increase sales a little bit, I'd be like, oh, maybe I'll send out an email or a promotion. Hopefully we'll get more sales. Or like, maybe I could tell the sales guy, try a little bit harder and we'll get more sales or something. When we're like $500,000 a month, we're like 5x. I'm like, we need a whole system that's totally different. And I was looking at myself and reflected and said like, hey, most of the time I spend my time on like operations and I don't spend my time on actually what's going to get this goal is like marketing and sales. Dude, we need to do marketing and sales. I need a whole system for that. And so it changed the trajectory of what I was even working on during the day.
And it even made you spend like an hour a day like learning marketing, right?
Yeah. I was just totally changed everything. I stopped doing all the operation stuff and started learning marketing. And that's like kind of how this all started, So just setting that big goal transformed my mindset. And guess what? It was hard, but we set the trajectory to go from 100 to 200 and then 300 and then 400. Then we hit 500. I think it took maybe like a year and a half or it took a while.
It took a while, revenue.
But we hit it. And then we hit 600, 700, 800, 900, a million, 1.12, 13, 14. We just kept going. You know what I mean? So like setting that first initial crazy goal was the trajectory change for everything. It would never have happened if I would have set a small goal.
Yeah, not just like how did I get 10% more, 20% more. No, how the fuck do I 5x this? And now you're way past that. All because of the shifts that come when you set big goals.
Yes.
Whoa. Roddy boy, fist bump. Boom. Let's go.
All right. Remember, guys, we are the #1 intergalactic marketing and mindset podcast. If you love this shit, then definitely you got to.
For people.
Go for it.
Guys, what are you doing?
What?
If you're watching this on YouTube and you haven't yet liked, commented, subscribed, rang the bell, talk about Clayton's muscles, talk about my bad haircut, what's the deal? Do it now. If you're on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell. If you're on Apple Podcasts,
tell us what you think.
Give us that 5-star review on Apple Podcasts.
Hell yeah.
All right, do it. Do it now. And subscribe. And if you're on Spotify, probably the worst podcast platform.
The best.
Whatever. I don't think so. And, Joe Rogan's over there. Now I can't even watch him on my TV because he's not on YouTube anymore.
Yeah, I think Joe Rogan's coming on our podcast.
I think he, soon. He sent an email to me directly. It wasn't even his assistant. He was just like, hey, you guys run that marketing podcast. That's huge on that planet over there, right? And I was like, Oh, yeah. I didn't know we got
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of listeners from
Joe who?
Saturn, but I'm glad you're listening. Anyways, guys, if you're on Spotify, subscribe. If you're on Apple Podcasts, give us a rating and subscribe. And if you're on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell. Clayton's muscles, my bad haircut, Clayton's
boom.
hat too. Maybe you can send him a new hat. Who knows? Guys, it's a Rowdy Boy fist bump. What
Boom.
are we?
Oh,
Fuck,
shit.
we missed. That's bad luck for 5 years. Dude, tell the people who we are.
We are the Rowdy Boys.
That's goddamn right, guys. We'll talk to you later.
See ya.